Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and you just saw this phone. Do you know what this phone is? Take a look at the thumbnail or the title of this live video. You've tuned into another edition of the Locker Gnome Daily Report, TLDR for short. I've got my members right behind me, or at least a couple of them. We were joking because I never really set a schedule for these live events in this channel. And Chirag said, that's okay, keeps everybody on edge. And I said, or Chrome, or Safari, or Firefox, or Vivaldi, or Lynx. Do y'all remember Lynx? One of my favorite web browsers of all time. All time. There's also Brave, by the way. It's getting better. Not quite there yet. Still got a few little things they got to work through. But this website is all about video, right? YouTube. This video is all about this particular device, the Pixel 3 XL. I've now had about 24 hours with the device and wanted to share with you my initial impressions. I've got my notes. They will be typed out in the video description for those of you who are too lazy to watch the entire video and listen, because I know there are those of you who don't quite understand the concept of video. You can read the description if you're so inclined. The first thing that I did, once I got things set up and initiated the transfer, which for the most part went seamlessly. The only hiccup I think I had in terms of transferring from the Pixel 2 XL to the Pixel 3 XL was specifically the photos. Like, it duplicated a series of photos, which was more than annoying. And I wasn't exactly sure what to make of that. However, it is what it is, and things got duplicated. So it's not a big deal because I don't really pay for the storage with Google Photos. It's just annoying more than anything. I think it's because the camera roll on the old device hadn't been cleared out necessarily, and so it synchronized those photos on top of the photos that were already stored in Google Photo. They need to do a better job with transferring that data. You can join the live video chat or non-live video chat. Just become a member. Hit the join button if you're interested. Easy to do. The first thing that I did in terms of like using the device was launch developer options, of course. I changed the animation speed. I'm inclined to go with a half speed or a 0.5 speed animation transitions, and it tends to make things a bit snappier. And for the most part, that's something that I've always kind of come back to, even though I vacillate between the full speed animations and the half speed animations. For the most part, I don't feel like I'm missing anything by going to the half step. So I changed animations, and then of course I nunned the notch. That's an option in the developer options. So I turned it off after having used Nacho Notch, the app that I think I mentioned briefly last week or the week before. It's an app, came out of the XDA developers forums, and you can install it on pretty much any Android device, but certainly it was built for devices that have a notch display cutout. Although, interestingly enough, if you search in developer options for notch, Google knows exactly what you're thinking. Or even in settings, search for notch, Google knows what you're talking about. So it's no secret. Now, until Google actually bakes something like that in, if they do bake something in to effectively mitigate it without wasting those potentially illuminated pixels, Nacho Notch, after I configured it to my liking, it worked very well. Better than the first time I tried it even a couple of weeks ago on the Pixel 2 XL. Effectively, you can change the rounded corners and the radius. You can even remove them altogether, which is what I did, because there are some apps that just don't look right with the rounded corners, and I opted for a cleaner cut experience. But remember, I'm the kind of guy that likes the iPhone 8 Plus screen being this rectangle. I'm okay with that. But Nacho Notch allows you to effectively configure it to your liking, and in doing so, you'll be able to turn off the notch, but also make use of the flanking ears, as they're called, to put the time and the notifications, as well as your other status bar items. So Nacho Notch is an absolute must-have. I was able to, configure it to my liking. You can as well, if you even care about it, but that completely mitigates any kind of problem. Yes, the notch does get seen when you swipe down to see your notifications and the status icons and to toggle them. But interestingly enough, the padding for the time and the status bar icons, like your battery, it doesn't change position with the cutout enabled, or with Nacho Notch mitigating the cutout, meaning it's a cleaner experience. So Google must have hard-coded the default swipe down menu must have been within Android Pie, because I experienced the same thing on the Pixel 2 XL without a notch, obviously, and the Pixel 3 XL. So that was just an interesting little side note. And what do I mean by that? Like, so I'm on my default screen. I swipe down, I see the notifications. The time doesn't change position, nor does the battery status, etc. They don't actually flip and move down. And that's specifically Nacho Notch being on, or with a black background. I choose to run in, pure black mode if I have any chance. I'd say night mode, but some apps aren't really night mode. They're night mode-ish. Like, they're dark gray-ish, dark blue-ish. And I'm like, no, black. Like, that's just, I want black. That's my wish. So Nacho Notch was a boon in terms of usability, in terms of seamlessness. It has been steadily improving, and just in the brief time that I've been using it, I actually prefer using Nacho Notch in an invisible capacity over the option to turn off the display cutout in developer options. So that was really the first thing that spoke to general usability. In terms of improvement, like, I will often notice subtle differences, and that is probably the best word I could use to describe what's going on. Subtle. That's the difference between a 2XL and a 3 to me. Now, I'm talking largely about software experience. Subtle in the sense that, I've of course been accustomed to, how things flow, how things work, and how seamless the transitions are or animations are on a Pixel 2 XL. I would say that in certain spots, the animations are snappier. In certain spots, not all spots. There's definitely some Google app jank that's prevalent. Some of it baked into the system, some of it app related. It's kind of difficult to separate the two. But seeing what I see, I'm inclined to believe that it's just apps not being properly baked or fully baked. Because it seems to be that I get the same kind of frame skips on a Pixel 3 XL as I did on the Pixel 2 XL. But that said, there are some times where I would see animation kind of drop frames in the Pixel 2 XL, but I don't necessarily see the same in the Pixel 3 XL. So I think that extra speed or the management of that is improved, but it's a subtle difference. I don't even know if anybody would really notice those types of experiences that I noticed. But yeah, it was a very slight difference in terms of, like, night and day. Well, I understand. This is one of the next points that I have. I do understand that a lot of people say that, oh, the screen's better. Well, yes, it is cleaner. I would say it is better, and I'm sure it could be measured as better in some way, but that was never a sticking point for me, honestly. It didn't... I understood why people complained, and was it perfect? No. Could it have been better? Yeah. Did burn-in happen? Absolutely. But is the screen better now? Sure. But I guess that isn't really... wasn't something that would compel me to move to a Pixel 3 XL over, say, a Pixel 2 XL. That's me, but I don't look for those types of details as others might. The images are I mean, the color is certainly different on the screen because it's a different screen, calibrated differently, different screen, color saturation, etc. All the things that happen between the different displays. But in terms of making me appreciate the Pixel 3 XL that much more than a Pixel 2 XL, I can't say that the difference was all that big. So, give me a second. And again, this is important to say because I have been using the Pixel 2 XL for the past year, so I've been steeped in it, right? And a lot of what I'm seeing is specifically in software. Doesn't feel dramatically faster, largely invisible incremental improvements from what I've perceived. Software being slightly more responsive. But better screen, but that wasn't a sticking point for me. Photos. So I, of course, was playing around with photos. That's like my most popular app, according to Digital Wellbeing, right? Because I was trying to figure out that photos issue of like duplicating photos, which was absolutely maddening. But, once I moved past it, I was like, okay, how's the camera work? Okay, that's cool. It's neat. And I do a comparison side by side. I would say colors on the Pixel 3 XL are more accurate, especially with like skin tone and white balance. Certainly works a little better in low light situations. I found, even in experimenting with the gimmicky portrait mode, and I'm sorry, portrait mode on every single smartphone is an absolute gimmick. But it worked slightly better as a gimmick. And so I kind of fiddled with that a bit. The one thing that, if I had a concern about the camera or the photo quality, not even the camera, just the photo quality, because again, we're not just talking about the hardware, we're talking about the software, hardware, and AI. One, I'm very excited about Night Sight. Those previews have leaked from a variety of sources, and it looks to be an outstanding, if not best-in-class, super low-light camera, or super low-light photos. So the Pixel 3, or the Pixel 3 XL, with that software update, will, and again, from a distance, from a variety of sources, will be a best-in-class low-light camera, which is good for me, because I do take low-light shots. Of course, we'll see how it works with a moving object like Jedi. She's not here right now, so don't worry, she's not going to run into frame. I trolled everybody with the thumbnail for the unboxing yesterday just to throw people off. But the thing about the photos is that I was testing initially even with the Pixel 3, and I haven't really done a side-by-side or a feel test between the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL. That, of course, will come. This is the Pixel 3. But again, I'm inclined to use the Pixel 3 XL if I am to keep it. But at this point, okay, I'll save that as my last point. No spoilers. Stay tuned. So I was taking pictures, of course, just doing some tests. The Pixel 2 XL and the Pixel 3, etc., and had noticed that in low light scenarios, like in this room, the Pixel 2 XL did a better job, I feel, with white balance, or at least black, tones. The 2 XL did a better job than the 3 or the 3 XL. And one of the test cases was in this light, which tends to be a bit, what is it? It's not warm light. It's not, is it daylight? It's whiter light. To go for a more natural light. What do they call it? Sunlight? I'm really bad at color temperatures. Either way, this is me. This is really my skin tone. I'm really this white. Almost whiter than a keyboard or a mouse that you might see pictured here. But it was almost like I'm not going to say a bluish undertone for the black in this Vader here, but it could have been not just the lighting, but maybe the red tones in the desk that caused the Pixel 3 or the Pixel 3 XL to not quite nail the black in this Vader, this phone holder Vader, which it's black as black can be, but it came off a bit blue by comparison to the Pixel 2 camera. So that was one thing that I noticed in the Pixel 3 camera in a low light. Did better in terms of bringing out color or bringing out details and sharpness in low light, but I'm not quite sure it's got the blacks nailed, which could be a software tweak, certainly, but if they're aware of it, I don't know. Is it a showstopper? I doubt it. Are people going to complain? I also doubt it. Is it likely to get fixed? I doubt it. But I also did a test in the bedroom last night. We had a little statuette, one of those Jakks Pacific 30-inch figurines of the Inquisitor from Rebels. He's got a gray skin tone, a black outfit, and he was leaning up against the wall in the corner, the walls being this kind of tan yellowish color. And again, he kind of came off not as pure black in a low light situation compared to the Pixel 2 XL. So the Pixel 2 XL, I feel, doesn't nail colors accurately. Pixel 3 XL, and let's assume we're talking 2 and 2 XL and 3 and 3 XL at this stage. Pixel 3 XL, I feel, did colors better, but the white balance still seems to be a bit off, specifically in low light situations. Something that might be modifiable slightly with the right slider control, let's say in Google Photos or inside of your photo tweaking app. I pretty much abandoned Snapseed, which Google seems to have done as well. But you know, that was one thing that did stand out here in this lighting situation, in a completely different lighting situation in the master bedroom. Not a showstopper, but it was the one thing that I picked up in terms of testing the camera. Haven't tested video, haven't really felt compelled to do that. I'm hoping to get out to get some shots of some autumn trees, not just for color and saturation. I love autumn. This is my favorite time of year. Maybe shoot some audio, some video. Not expecting the microphone to be stellar, but the Pixel 2 XL was serviceable for voice situations. Imperfect, but serviceable. Not as rich a sound as you might experience with other microphones, but Google's probably not going to fix that because Google doesn't see it as broken. So until they swap out their mics or allow for some independent equalizer settings for the microphone, which they should do, I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon. You'd have to use an external microphone, which is now supported inside the Google Camera application. Let's see here. I don't have a wireless charging station. I didn't get one. I don't have a wireless charging station at all. There's none in this house right now, so I couldn't tell you how well that worked or whether or not it would work well with the Pixel, like the Pixel charging station. I have the app installed apparently, but I don't know if I'm getting one. Maybe at some point in the distant future, sure. But YouTube hates sending out notifications. That's there. You want to talk about what's similar about iOS and Android? That. Right there. Oh, no, not right there. Not Moe from Thomas Carter. I apologize if you did not receive a notification. But that's not really my problem, right? That's the thing. The things I talk about, generally speaking, are not my problem. Some things are my problem, right? But that one isn't. So I didn't have a chance to change the wireless or charge wirelessly to use a wireless charging station. I'd be interested, sure, but it's not something I'm going to chase down. I'm fine with a cord and a cable. I know then it's plugged in. I've been using it pretty frequently all day, and it's at 54% battery life, which is pretty solid. I haven't charged it, and I've been up since 6 o'clock. So it's been a while. So battery life is doing pretty well, and I expect it to get better as the adaptive battery continues to figure things out. The sound is definitely a dramatic difference. I'm not going to say dramatically better, just different. Like, the sound is more... What's interesting is the sound itself that this largely splays out from the bottom speaker, not so much the top. Like, you could cover the top speaker and not hear the difference. You cover the bottom one, you hear all the difference. They've balanced it that way for a reason, but I've found myself, honestly, feeling that the speaker at full volume, it's loud, but almost too loud, and I feel like I need to attenuate the volume somewhat. I've played a series of chip tunes. That's what I like listening to. I like listening to a lot of music, eclectic taste. When Jedi's here, we're usually listening to the Greatest Showman soundtrack. But music sounds nice. The sounds sound nice. Every notification that comes in sounds rich, full on the speakers. I rarely watch a video like landscape mode. Sometimes I do, but I don't think I'd be all that put off with the imbalance between the volume of the bottom and the top front-facing speakers. I like front-facing speakers though. That is nice. The vibration motor, the engine thing that makes it go, it's the thing that provides haptic feedback. Stronger, different. And I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I'm not put off by it, but it's definitely a bit more prevalent than it was in the Pixel 2 XL. Again, these are small differences, but I'm not sure if they add up to a better overarching experience between a 2XL and the 3XL. And that, I guess that leads me, and I don't know if anybody else wants me to cover any other aspect of my first impressions over the past 24 hours. I'd be happy to cover something that I haven't here. Every other aspect of just general usability has been fine. It feels almost as fast as the Pixel 2 XL. Sometimes maybe a little snappier, but not dramatically. Similar experience in that's kind of what leads me to I feel what's going to be my final talking point on it, at least for now. I'm not sure that after a day's time I'm sold, like, specifically on this device. And maybe it's because I haven't been fully immersed in the entire experience. Like, if I had the Pixel, the wireless charging station, maybe it would make more sense. If I had, all the other services that Google provides, maybe it would make more sense. But I don't know if I could justify the price discrepancy between the two. If I were to move to a Pixel 3 XL, I would most likely have to sell the Pixel 2 XL just to make up the cost, as well as other things to make up the cost, because I just could not justify having the two around. And I'm not sure if it's warranted, and it's enough of a leap to just suggest that the Pixel 2 XL is no longer amazing, because it really is. It stood the test of time for me, maybe not for all people, and it wasn't perfect, but I guess in what the Pixel 3 XL has been to me this first 24 hours, I'm not sure I see it. I have to give it more time, certainly, before I come to my final decision. This is obviously not a review, but this is for me, talking as someone who doesn't review smartphones for a living, doesn't want to, doesn't talk about smartphones a lot, doesn't really touch or want to touch a lot of smartphones. It's coming from someone who's actually used a Pixel 2 XL and has been more than satisfied with it. So I have to, come to that, decision. Am I more than satisfied enough to make up that difference? And I don't know if I have that answer. And maybe in another week's time, I'll have a better answer, after, using it and feeling it, wrapping my head around it. I don't know. That's my feeling after a day. I don't know. Sure. Yeah. I mean, if I had a chance, yeah, absolutely. If it was like nothing, if it was like, here, do you want the Pixel 2 XL or the 3 XL? I'd say, oh yeah, the 3 XL, easily. No problem. But that's not the question. That's not the scenario, unfortunately. So I have to decide. Does the larger form factor still entice you? Yeah, I feel that, and this is even after not using the Pixel 3 as much as the Pixel 2. I'm sorry, the Pixel 3 as much as the Pixel 3 XL. I use Action Launcher, and I've been told that a new version of Action Launcher is going to be released soon. I use that for my launcher. I guess I really feel that I like that extra screen real estate. As much as I appreciate the difference between the 3 and the 2 screen real estate and how they, accommodate everything, I think I really do feel I would miss the extra screen real estate, especially with like notch running on the 3 XL, as opposed to just running on the smaller 3. With the price being the difference between the two, it would be tricky. And this was the decision I had to come to last year. Was I going to go with the 2 or the 2 XL? And I went with the 2 XL because it was obviously, a dramatic screen difference. There's not as much of a dramatic screen difference between the 3 and the 3 XL. But now that I'm accustomed to it, despite I feel spots of better performance in the 3 over the 3 XL, I don't know if I'd be able to do that trade-off. Even down to the feel for double tapping the power button to launch the camera. Like, I'm used to doing it on the 3 XL in just about every scenario. And so moving to a smaller phone, I've been trying to figure out how to do it the right way, or how to hold it the right way to get it going the way I've been used to going. But I've been used to gripping the phone in a different sense. So it's difficult for me to double tap this phone, a power button to launch the camera, and it's easier for me, believe it or not, with my small hands to do the same thing on the 3 XL, and it just could be having muscle memory for how the Pixel 3 XL feels. But yeah, it's still up in the air, folks. I feel good about it, but I really have to map out if I feel great about it, because that's what it kind of boils down to. Being more of a normal person who uses technology, I will tell you this: when I've talked about this or showed the 3 XL to Diana, she didn't care. I mean, she's got her phone and it works and she's happy with it. She didn't care. It's just another phone to her, right? I will tell you this, though. The one feature that Diana saw on the 3 and the 3XL, the only thing that she wanted to talk about. Hang on. I should hang on. Let me go ahead and flip this down to put it in do not disturb mode. It's that easy. The one thing she wanted, the one thing that she saw that she liked. Hang on. I'm gonna let y'all guess. Can you guess what was the number one feature that she saw in the 3 and the 3XL that turned her head? One thing, and I'm telling you, Diana is 99% of the galaxy. What she saw, I guarantee other people saw as well, which is in a dramatic, I guess, juxtaposition, or juxtaposed against that which a lot of the so-called techies have been talking about. Anybody? No, it wasn't about the size. Okay, hang on. It was the camera. But what about the camera? Thank you, Thomas Carter. You nailed it. Marvin, you were close. You were probably right there. Adam Toms. No, it's not the song identifier. You know you want to know Diana's song identifier? She asks me. I'm like, you've got to ask it. You've got to just hold it up. It'll tell you. Seriously, she uses me more than Google. It was the wide angle selfie. I held it up. I'm like, yeah, hey, we're gonna take a selfie, and I hold the camera out, and we kind of huddle together, and I press the button and zoom out. It was really easy to do. Here, let me just hang on. I gotta grab the right phone. I got like 4 of them sitting in front of me. I can't handle it. Let's go ahead and double tap to open the camera. Flip double tap to do the selfie, and then we can zoom out. When I did that, and I showed her it was wide angle, she was like, "What phone is that? How'd you get that? What is that?" I want that. Forget everything else. Forget the speed. Forget the specifications. Forget the memory. Forget the apps. Forget the everything. The number one thing she wanted was that wide angle selfie, which is funny to me because if you watch all the video reviews on this specific device, they're slagging the amount of RAM, they're slagging the microphone quality, they're slagging this, that, and the others. Anything they can slag, they're gonna slag, right? And rightfully so. Google put themselves in that position, asking what they're asking for in terms of a price point. But like, it was funny to me because every one of them seemed to gloss over the wide angle selfie, like, you don't understand, dude. If Google only marketed one feature, it would be that. It should be that. Just telling you, man. Diana was in. She was like, yes. It would not be a problem. It would not be a challenge. I could even say, here, do you want to use my Pixel 2 XL? And she'd go, where's the wide angle camera? I'm like, no, it's in the 3 XL. Well, then that's the one I want. It's the only thing. Only thing that would drive her from, let's say, an iOS experience to Android. Could Apple do the same thing? It's certainly possible. But Google did a pretty good job with that. And given the amount of front-facing videos that she does, whether she's video chatting or taking pictures with her and Jedi or the family, that's a very compelling feature for her. So I thought that was very interesting to point out. And what I'm debating, although I'm nervous, because Diana, I love her dearly, but she tends to love devices in the sense of she uses and abuses them. Like, she just doesn't care. I mean, she uses them. Whereas I'm kind of like, making sure everything's clean, pristine, software, hardware, just, perfect. She's like, blah, 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 psh, blah, 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 psh, psh, food, psh, blah, water, psh, pop. Psh. She doesn't care. But you know what? That's exactly what phones should be used for. So I'm not slagging her about that or for that. But I'm afraid of giving her to test because one of these has got to go back, if not both of them. That makes me very nervous because I want her to try it. Hey, JSL 1993. Because if she tries the wide-angle camera, I have a feeling that would tilt her over. Oh, if we only had $1,000 extra to spend willy-nilly. Hi, Chris. JSal 1993 comes in with the super chat. And JSal, are you a member? If not, you should become a member. Press the join button. Are you worried that Google may take out the ability to hide the notch in developer options in the future? Doubt it. It's there for testing purposes. I doubt they would remove it. Number one, it would cause a stir. Number two, it's not hurting anything. In fact, I would like to believe that they're going to adopt nacho notch type of options, or at least throwing the status bar to flank the notch or the display cutout into the ears, much like nacho notch does. I'd like to believe they're going to do something like that in a software update, but until then, honestly, nacho notch, I turn it on. I'm like, okay, let me try this for a while. Let me see how it feels. I don't have to pay attention to the notch. I don't have to see the notch. It's notch there, and that's all I was looking for. That's all I wanted. I could mitigate it in software. At which point, talking about the hardware is irrelevant. Which is the talking point that so many people miss. They say, "Well, I thought you didn't like the notch." Take the time to listen. That's why I speak. Usually. Hello, Adam Sizaglu. Sorry if I really messed up your last name. No, I don't think there's going to be a Pixel Fund, unfortunately. I'm not sure if that, that worked well enough last year. I don't think that's going to be viable. Granted, if you do want to help, it would be wonderful if you did become a member, like JSal1993 just did. There you go. We're almost at 100 members. Did you know that? We almost have 100 members. Almost. That's 96. JSal1993 is 96 members. Which is nice because, usually we'll get about 200 people tuning into a live stream. That's like a 50% ratio, which is amazing. 50% of the people who tune into the live stream, or at least by numbers, are direct supporters. They are people who have joined and become a member. It's amazing. Like that's an amazing ratio to see in terms of engagement. I love it. Kunarik, hello, welcome. Wait, you're a member and you did a super chat? What's going on? I swear you became a member. But apparently I'm not the only Pixel 3 fan out there. Yeah. So that's pretty much everything I was hoping to cover. And then some. I'm a little over 30 minutes. I apologize for that. I like to try to cap things, at 30. If there's anything else I missed, feel free to leave a comment. I moderate all of them. I see all of them. I'd be happy to address it in future videos. I'm not sure about tomorrow's TLDR. I'm kind of thinking about getting Diana back on stage and having her kind of play with the Pixel 3. I'm seriously considering it. If only for that wide angle. You'll hear her talk about it. It hurts. It hurts so much because I know she would love it. Although it makes me nervous because she installs anything and everything. And loves her devices. Oh, God. Oh, she loves her devices. Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all my members and super chatters and regular old subscribers for subscribing. There you go. The Ultraneros has got his take there. Oh, hey, got a new member, Oscar Forzani Fawcett. Very nice to have here at the tail end of things. This is a great way of doing it. Okay, wait, hang on. I'm gonna do something because we're now at 97. I'm threatening you now. What I'm going to threaten is to not stop this live video until we reach 100 members because we're at 97 now. I'm not joking either. Here, I can pull up this the webpage for you to show you. Give me a second. Blip, blip, blip. Where's all my icons are in different spots because I have a different recently used icons at the top of my browser. No, launcher. Okay, hang on just a second. I'm logged in, right? Okay, so let's do this. I've got to navigate differently. Wait, I know I can do it on this phone. Because I have the web page pulled up. I'm pulling up the Pixel 2 XL. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I'm going to show you. So I mean, it's not like you don't believe me necessarily. But look, members, 97. Members, 90. Can you see that? Is it too bright? It's too bright. I apologize. 97, can you see it there? 97. So members, 97. Which is nice. You can't subscribe twice. I'm gonna sit here and should I start slagging everybody else's smartphone? Should I? Because I can. I'm not gonna do that because I honestly I don't care what you use. I'm glad you like using what you use. I'm still not going to go out and try to get every one of them, at least at this point in time. That may change at some point in the future. If I'm able to kind of set things up the way I think they should be set up in terms of doing these types of videos. I'm more inclined, honestly, to do the videos that we started this weekend, the more inspirational series. Not just because the camera work is spectacular, thanks to a local producer who reached out to me. I said, yeah, let's collaborate on something. We're working on the next one, by the way. And yeah, I know the audio was horrible. I'm not an audiophile, but I'm working on trying to adjust the quality of the audio based on the recordings that we already have. Yeah, maybe this was not a great idea. I have overestimated the 200 people who are tuned in. Yeah, I thought it'd be easier to get to 100, but I guess I'm just gonna stop this video and let everybody know that we're this close to getting to 100 members. You can still join at any time, whether the video's live or not. You get different values, like being able to join the chat. You get members only posts. I've been sharing like 5 micro essays every week, and of course, just the knowledge that it helps a TLDR type of experience continue. So I'm not going to call this a fail. I'm going to calculate and guess that 3 more people will join by the end of this video or after it's live. Knock on wood. Oh well. I'm not going to say I failed. I've succeeded in finding 97 people who believe in me, or more. With the super chatters. I love you. I appreciate you, but at this point, I am going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.